In a dramatic escalation of pressure on the government of Nicolás Maduro, Donald J. Trump, now President of the United States, reportedly issued an ultimatum demanding Maduro depart Venezuela immediately. The message comes amid mounting military buildup by Washington in the Caribbean and follows a sustained campaign of sanctions, naval deployments, and lethal strikes targeting alleged narcotics shipments linked to Venezuela. During a phone call held on November 21, U.S. officials say Trump delivered a stark demand. Maduro must vacate the country now for himself and his family in exchange for safe passage. According to media reports, those close to Maduro balked at the offer. Rather than resign, Maduro reportedly asked for global immunity from prosecution and insisted on keeping military control even if he ceded political power. The call reportedly ended without agreement. The White House has since convened its top national security team to consider all options, including the possibility of land-based strikes. This confrontation is the latest chapter in a probe by Washington into what it calls narcotics-linked trafficking and corruption tied to the Venezuelan state apparatus. Since September 2025, U.S. naval and air forces have carried out multiple strikes against boats alleged to be smuggling cocaine and other drugs from Venezuelan coasts. The U.S. claims these operations are part of a broader counter-narcotics campaign, justified under its recent designation of the Venezuelan group Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization. President Trump has ramped up pressure through economic and diplomatic means as well. In March 2025, he signed Executive Order 14245, which imposes a 25% tariff on goods imported into the U.S. from any country that buys Venezuelan oil, part of a broader strategy to isolate Caracas economically. From Washington's perspective, the ultimatum represents a final attempt to force regime change without bloodshed. Transfer of power would, in theory, ease tensions, allow international recognition of a new government, and secure Venezuelan oil for foreign customers again. From Caracas's side, however, the message has been met with defiance and calls for sovereignty. Maduro and his supporters view the U.S. campaign as imperial overreach. As the Caribbean deployments grew, including the positioning of warships, aircraft, and thousands of troops, Maduro mobilized Venezuela's Bolivarian militia and security forces, vowing to defend the country's sovereignty. Sources involved in the call reportedly described Trump's tone as blunt and uncompromising. According to U.S. media, the message was unambiguous. You can save yourself and those closest to you, but you must leave the country now. The exit package reportedly included safe passage not only for Maduro, but also his wife, Cilia Flores, their son, and several top allies. But Maduro rejected the offer. According to reports, he demanded assurances of global amnesty and retention of control over the military. Those demands were rejected and the conversation broke down. Since the call, no further direct contact has been reported. Meanwhile, the U.S. has taken additional steps. It closed Venezuelan airspace in practice by warning pilots and airlines not to cross it, and reportedly refused Maduro's requests for another call. Following the failed call, President Trump convened a high-level national security meeting to decide future steps. According to Chinese state media, the talks may include land attacks inside Venezuela. Some experts and even some inside U.S. security circles remain skeptical that a full-scale invasion is practical. The logistical and political challenges are enormous. Venezuela is a large country with rugged terrain, armed militias, and hostile public sentiment. Still, the rapid buildup of regional forces, including warships, aircraft carriers, and F-35 jets, signals that Washington is prepared for a range of contingencies, from targeted raids to a regime change operation. For Caracas, the gamble now revolves around whether to double down on resistance or explore a negotiated exit under pressure. But with distrust deep and demands far apart, the risk of miscalculation and open conflict is rising. In Caracas, Maduro responded defiantly. On December 1, at a rally for young leaders of the ruling party, he declared his absolute loyalty to the Venezuelan people, invoking the legacy of the late leader Hugo Chavez and pledged to defend national sovereignty against any external threat. Maduro's wife, Cilia Flores, and other top officials reportedly stood by him as he delivered a fiery speech condemning the US pressure campaign. Analysts say his position now hinges on mobilizing domestic support and leveraging international diplomatic channels, particularly with US adversaries such as Russia, China, and Iran. International reactions have been mixed. Some regional governments, especially in Latin America, have voiced concern over the US military buildup and warned against destabilizing intervention. Others, seeking to preserve trade and avoid sanctions, have responded cautiously to Washington's moves. At the heart of the crisis lie two interwoven issues: Venezuela's oil wealth and long-standing allegations of state-linked drug trafficking. For the US, removing Maduro could reopen Venezuelan oil markets to friendly nations and reduce supply shocks. Economic pressure via tariffs such as those imposed under Executive Order 14245 has already hit Caracas hard, but oil revenues remain a critical lifeline for the regime. Meanwhile, US counter-narcotics officials argue that destroying smuggling routes via maritime strikes and covert operations is vital to stem drug flows and to target groups like Cartel de los Soles that Washington associates with narco-terrorism. Critics, however, warn that military strikes, especially those causing civilian casualties, may amount to extrajudicial killings under international law and erode US moral standing worldwide. For Venezuela and the wider region, the consequences could be dire: political collapse, refugee flows, economic chaos, and a dangerous precedent for foreign intervention. Observers suggest the timing of the ultimatum is strategic, with global energy demands high and domestic politics increasingly hawkish on drug trafficking and border security. The current administration may see 2025-26 as a unique window to reshape Venezuela's trajectory. The ultimatum, therefore, is more than a demand, it is a line in the sand. If Maduro refuses and the US follows through, the shift could mark a major reordering of power in Latin America and a test of willingness to use force to achieve regime change. But the risks are enormous. Military intervention, even limited strikes, could trigger widespread instability, draw condemnation, and embroil the US in protracted conflict. Even short of war, the economic and humanitarian fallout for Venezuelans could be severe. For now, all eyes are on Caracas and Washington. Will Maduro hold his ground, or will the ultimatum force an exit that reshapes Venezuela's future forever? As this confrontation enters an increasingly volatile phase, Venezuela stands suspended between two futures, one shaped by political defiance and the other shaped by mounting international pressure that shows no sign of easing. Maduro's refusal to accept Washington's offer has closed what some analysts viewed as the last peaceful off-ramp, leaving both nations locked in a cycle of hostility that now threatens to spill beyond diplomacy. The United States has already demonstrated a willingness to escalate through targeted strikes and crippling economic measures, while Caracas has responded with its own displays of resolve, mobilizing security forces and rallying supporters around a message of sovereignty and resistance. Yet beneath the rhetoric lies a population already battered by years of economic collapse, shortages, and uncertainty, a nation for whom the consequences of a miscalculation could be devastating. Regional governments are watching with unease, wary that a misstep could ignite instability across Latin America, disrupt global energy flows, and trigger mass displacement. Diplomats warn that pressures of this magnitude, once unleashed, gain momentum of their own, pushing both sides toward outcomes neither originally intended. And while the White House insists its ultimatum was a final attempt to prevent deeper conflict, the failure of that effort has placed Washington and Caracas on a trajectory whose end remains unclear. What is certain is that the stakes now extend far beyond the political survival of a single leader. They touch on questions of sovereignty, the limits of foreign intervention, and the fragile balance of power in a region already burdened by crises. As both capitals brace for what may come next, the world watches whether this standoff ends in negotiation, confrontation, or an entirely uncharted chapter in US-Venezuela relations, one that could redefine the hemisphere for years to come.